Oh dear, I forgot to turn the mic on. Let's try that again. Hello there, I'm Moldy, and right in front of you, I have the Snub Fighter. But it's not just any Snub Fighter. Before we get into that, this Saturday, I'll be going live on the channel to not only build the Onyx Cinder, which I have in front of me, but also to talk about the first season of Skeleton Crew. Until then, all of my videos will be spoiler free, so you don't have to worry about getting spoiled on the finale or any of the big things that happen in the show. And by then anyway, I'm sure Star Wars would have probably posted a few clips spoiling it for everyone already. But this Snub Fighter isn't all as it seems, because inside is not Vane or the other pilot that comes in the set, but rather my custom Glurb minifigure. I'm rubbish with names, but I nearly remember every character from the show. Our third and final crew member is, I think it was Dexter. Alongside Glurb, I'd love for LEGO to include another alien like Pax here, who is the Gran with only 2 eyes. But before we get into other minifigures they could include in a set like this, I first want to talk about why I'd like for LEGO to re-release some Star Wars sets. The way I'm thinking, it's not just Skeleton Crew sets that we could get with different minifigures, but also Clone Trooper battle packs could be re-released with slight color variations and different legions of clones, which isn't entirely unseen, as in the creator line, LEGO do enjoy a nice recolor. We've seen it with a few of the parrots I think LEGO have released, and we've also seen it with the T-Rex 3-in-1 that I built and reviewed here previously on the channel. And whilst I understand that most of those were Europe and UK exclusives, I think getting a recolored battle pack, even if perhaps it's a store exclusive and one store you can pick up the 501st, another store you can pick up the 327th Star Corps, and another store you can get the 91st Recon. I think that would be really cool when it comes to something like army builders that you can just buy and try to build these different clone armies. It's not something that we see used a lot, and for the most part there are creators like me that will simply swap out these colors for custom clone legions. But I really think LEGO could capitalize on the fact that clone troopers are 1 in a dozen. Nobody says no to an extra clone trooper. And this would perhaps be the most efficient way of getting out a load of different legions. At the minute, we've seen Windows Legion, we've seen 95th or Coruscant Guard, 212th, 501st, 332nd, regular phase 1s, and I'm sure I'm probably missing some Clone Trooper Legion or other, but that's only 6 legions since 2012 in the updated phase 2 style. Whereas if every other year we got a battle pack with 3 different variations, already we'd have an extra 3 legions in our collections, with a million more well on the way. And just to tie it back into Skeleton Crew, perhaps 2 alien head molds would be too much. But Pax is using the Gran head that we've seen for other characters like Ree-Yees from the old Jabba's Salvage. And since then, I don't remember it being used. This Quarren head mold not only has a ton of different uses for Clone Wars scenes, but is another minifigure that has shown up once, not Glurb, but another Quarren species in the Book of Boba Fett set. And we haven't seen the species anywhere else in the entire history, 25 plus years of LEGO Star Wars. But if LEGO didn't want 2 aliens in the one cheap set, they could include someone like Gunter, another member of the pirate crew, even throw in someone like Brutus, or if we were really pushing out the wish list boat, throw in someone like SM33 or Smee, who they missed out in the Onyx Cinder, and is a character I'm sure loads of people would like, though doesn't really fit with this ship. I also think the Pirate Snub Fighter, being as small as it is and somewhat on the more affordable line, which is another argument for another day, £30, it isn't cheap, but it is fairly affordable compared to some of the bigger sets like the Onyx Cinder you just saw. Is probably not a ship that most people will want to buy, but is at the price where it doesn't hurt the bank to do so. It would be a bit different if they were trying to re-release the exact same Millennium Falcon. I mean, LEGO have almost got away with releasing such similar Falcons so close together and just add in a different era of minifigures. I was lucky enough to get the Force Awakens one, the Rise of Skywalker one is so very similar, and the Dark Falcon is just a recolor in itself. This would work for the Snub Fighter, for Clone Trooper battle packs, for the Falcon, which they're kind of already doing, just a bit more complex, X-Wings, A-Wings, and other fighters like the Imperial TIE Fighter. It'd be really cool to get a Sabine Wren coloured wing and just have a ton of Rebels minifigures. And because the ships are already being made and it's just a matter of recolouring different parts as opposed to using different pieces, I don't see why this would take up another set slot. It doesn't seem to for the creator line. And even though it's the same model with a few different coloured pieces, it would feel like a whole nother set and would give the illusion of getting more Star Wars sets every year, especially if we get updated minifigures. Personally, I was a fan of the dark red gunship, but I know popular opinion was that everyone was really hoping it would be white, and there was a bit of disappointment when it turned out to be a different colour. But there's no reason LEGO couldn't just change the colour of all these dark red plates into white and release probably a few greens and other colours too. But re-release this maybe even at the same time. The biggest worry for them would of course be different colours being less popular. But if they're trying to please everyone and releasing multiple versions of the same set, there will also be people like myself that would definitely end up buying both of the recolors, if not all three. I could go on about different ships and sets that they could recolor, but I really would love something like a Skeleton Crew. We only get one set anyway, so using something like the Mandalorian vehicle and just giving us 2 more minifigures from it would be really cool. An easy money maker for LEGO, and because they've already made the set, there's so little effort needed. But with all the LEGO Star Wars sets that we're getting, and I'm sure there are plenty more on the horizon, hopefully we can see them very soon. Perhaps there's just not enough room for an extra recolor of an old set, and perhaps LEGO have already moved on, but I'd love to hear what you have to say. So join me in the members Discord, where we'll continue the conversation, as well as the comment section. It's completely free to leave a comment, and I do make sure I read every single one. Check out my previous video on Skeleton Crew, where you get a closer look at these 7 custom minifigures that I made. I do think SM33 is my favorite. And also don't forget to head over to the live stream. Make sure you've got notifications set up. You should also be able to see it in your local time, which is a lot easier than just saying 7 PM UK. But I hope to see a ton of views over there on Saturday. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. May the bricks be with you always. Meow.